Whether you realize it or not, society's understanding of retirement has changed in the past 15 years. This is in large part due to a specific group of people who have shifted the way that we think about retirement. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to this group of people. I'll explain how they've redefined retirement, and I'll share 3 new alternative ways of thinking about retirement. Let's get into it. Let's start with the group that has redefined retirement, the FIRE movement. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It's a community of people working towards financial independence, the point where you've accumulated enough wealth to generate enough investment income, also known as passive income, to cover your living expenses indefinitely. The FIRE movement doesn't have a single founder. Instead, it grew from the ideas of influential voices like Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez, the authors of Your Money or Your Life. They laid the groundwork for financial independence, which bloggers and online influencers have expanded upon over the past 2 decades. At its core, members of the FIRE movement understand the math behind retirement. They recognize that retirement isn't tied to a specific age or physical condition. Instead, it's a financial milestone, a crossover point where your wealth can cover your expenses indefinitely without a significant risk of running out of money. The FIRE movement challenges the traditional notion of age-based retirement. It proposes that retirement is achievable when you reach your financial independence number, the amount needed to sustain your lifestyle indefinitely. Most FIRE enthusiasts use the concept of the safe withdrawal rate, which was first introduced by a financial advisor in 1994. This approach helps determine how much you can withdraw from your investment portfolio annually without ever depleting your nest egg. Many have embraced a 4% safe withdrawal rate as the rule of thumb for their calculations. This means if you accumulate 25 times your annual expenses, you can reach financial independence, the point where you no longer need to work for active income to support your lifestyle. I should note that there's also some debate about a safe withdrawal rate itself, but that's a topic for another video. For this video, it's important to see how this math contributes to redefining retirement. Once you understand the math behind this concept, you will begin to see retirement as just another financial milestone, one that's independent of age. Reaching this financial milestone can fund early retirement or provide the freedom to pursue other interests and activities. In fact, early retirement is just one of many ways that this group has been thinking about retirement. There are 3 notable ways that the FIRE community thinks about retirement. All are inspired by this understanding of financial independence, and all take a unique approach to redefine retirement. I already mentioned the first alternative approach to retirement, early retirement. This is by far one of the most popular ways to rethink retirement. Early retirement isn't a new phenomenon. If you pause to reflect, you'll likely recall someone in your extended family or social circle who retired in their 50s or even their 40s. People have been retiring early for generations. It's not just a recent invention. However, early retirement has gained significant traction in recent years, largely due to the growing popularity of the FIRE movement. Early retirement is perhaps the easiest concept to grasp, both because of our exposure to it and its simplicity. If you accumulate enough wealth early enough, you can quit your job and never work another day in your life for money. The financial independence milestone I mentioned earlier affords you this luxury. Once you retire early, you can pay for your living expenses using investment income. This income can come from various sources. The most common is selling a percentage of your stock market portfolio, following the safe withdrawal rate approach. With anticipated growth and controlled expenses, you can sustain your lifestyle indefinitely. Alternatively, you could fund your early retirement through real estate investing. This could generate sufficient income from rental properties to cover your living expenses. But regardless of how you fund it, early retirement offers ultimate freedom for an extended period, all dependent on when you pull that trigger. The traditional view of retirement often had people waiting until their 60s before retiring, finally allowing them to pursue the freedom of their interests and hobbies. Early retirement simply moves up this timeline. This transition point isn't in your 60s, but in your 50s, 40s, or even your 30s for some of the most extreme examples. For those who have been introduced to the FIRE movement, early retirement is often the entry point to rethinking retirement. It may be the first idea that someone learns of, but it is certainly not the last. The next concept is for you to smash that like button. Okay, that's not actually the next way to rethink retirement, but it does help us and help this channel grow and reach more people. So if you're getting value from this video, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. The next way to redefine retirement is a concept called semi-retirement. Let's define it. Semi-retirement is a state where you support yourself financially through a combination of passive income and active income. Typically, this involves withdrawing a small percentage, say 1 to 2% of your investment portfolio to supplement your active income. By withdrawing less than the, say, 4% per year, which is the amount experts suggest you can withdraw annually in retirement without depleting your funds, your investments continue to grow in the background toward reaching full financial independence. This approach reduces the pressure to earn a high income to cover all of your expenses. If you've seen our video on the 5 stages of financial freedom, you'll understand that financial freedom is a spectrum, not an all or nothing proposition. At one end of the spectrum is your starting point, whether it's 0 or even a negative net worth due to student loans or consumer debt. At the other end lies full financial independence, where your passive income fully covers your living expenses. I like to think of semi-retirement as a milestone that happens before you reach full financial independence. So it's both a milestone and a unique approach to understanding retirement. Both the traditional view of retirement and even early retirement sees life in 2 stages. The first stage consisting of your working years and accumulating wealth, and the second stage as retirement, free from work. But semi-retirement challenges this notion. It attempts to blend the 2 stages together. It shifts the focus from retiring to finding an appropriate balance in life. Instead of an all or nothing approach, it charts a new path. Semi-retirement suggests that the goal shouldn't be to retire from work entirely anyways. Instead, it should be about finding work that allows you to generate enough income. And it could be work that lights you up, or it could be work that provides you with enough freedom and flexibility to pursue the things that light you up in your free time. In my opinion, this is a much healthier approach to life. It allows you to transition from a stressful, high-income job much earlier. But that's just scratching the surface of how transformative this idea can truly be. We actually released another video on semi-retirement that goes into much more detail. I'll share a link in the description below if you want to watch that video after this one. The last and final way that the FIRE movement is redefining retirement is through the introduction of mini retirements. A mini retirement approach takes that 20 to 40 work-free stage and spreads it out into many small stages throughout life. Mini retirements can be known by a few other terms as well. Other people use the terms career break, sabbatical, or even leave of absence. These terms can often be used interchangeably, though sabbatical and leave of absence typically imply an intention to return to the same employer. Mini retirement is a more flexible term that encompasses all of these scenarios. We prefer this term because it emphasizes intentionality. Rather than simply accepting the traditional view of retirement at a predetermined age, a mini retirement represents a deliberate break taken earlier in life on your own terms. I defined mini retirement as a small, intentional break from work. And small can mean different things to different people. A mini retirement might last a few months or stretch to a couple of years. The duration depends on your goals, what you're taking the mini retirement for, and your personal situation, including your finances. Mini retirements are often associated with travel. For instance, someone I interviewed for the Slow-Fi interview series over 5 years ago shared how she used mini retirements to travel for 4 months each year. However, the purpose of mini retirements can be incredibly diverse. It might be a chance to decompress from a high-stress job, to dedicate more time to a hobby you've been itching to master, or even just to reconnect with family and friends. Some use this time to give back to their community. The possibilities are truly limitless, and it's all about what matters most to you. Mini retirements offer a fresh perspective on the concept of retirement. They prompt us to ask, what's truly possible for me? It's an invitation to dream big right here and right now. By taking mini retirements, we're challenging ourselves to consider how we want to spend our time and what would bring us the greatest joy and fulfillment. It's about being bold enough to reimagine our lives today, not just in some distant future. These 3 approaches, early retirement, semi-retirement, and mini retirement, share a common thread. They all challenge the traditional notion of retirement as a single, distant event. Instead, they propose a more flexible and personalized approach to work and leisure throughout life. Whether it's retiring decades earlier, blending work and personal pursuits, or taking periodic breaks, these concepts encourage individuals to prioritize their well-being and personal goals. They all emphasize financial independence as a tool for increased life satisfaction rather than the end in itself. By redefining retirement in these ways, the FIRE movement promotes a more intentional and balanced approach to life, allowing people to enjoy the benefits of retirement at various stages rather than postponing fulfillment to a far-off future. All 3 have been impactful, but my preference leans towards semi-retirement and mini retirements. But what about you? Which of these new definitions of retirement do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about the FIRE movement, check out this video on how the FIRE movement has evolved over the past 10 years. And as always, thanks for watching and enjoy the journey.